Dude, my lychee went up.
Yeah.
I was getting $8 a can. Now it's 12. Oh. And then that's actually 12 is the wholesaler's price. So they have to mark it up from 12, another 15%.
Maybe there's gonna be domestic lychee. I don't know.
Have you seen the American lychee? I think it's called a grape here.
Welcome back to a very informative episode of Careful Boys. Today we're gonna have some tariff talk, but specifically, before we talk about how it affects the things that we're interested in, I wanted to talk to Minh about, he had brought up that a lot of people don't really know how it's actually affecting China in terms of its actual people.
China.
So that's we have two spectrums, right? Because I know there's other countries, there's tariffs, but the two big juggernauts are going to be United States and China.
Hey, yo, juggernaut.
Right. So when you look at that, you have to understand, like, let's say you had a kid, and like you and me both have our sons, right? So you and me can't agree on something. So, but we're gonna both watch our sons get choked out. But let's say I can't see your son get choked out, and you can't see my son. You don't know how bad it's gonna get. So same thing with us. Like, if you go and see what's going on in China compared to what's going on in America with the people, that's where you can see who's gonna stand the longest. So if you look in America right now, I'm not saying there isn't problems. There will be problems if they don't solve this soon. But right now, you just have a bunch of people venting and crying and complaining. We're very soft here. Like, paper cut. Oh my God, no!
Yeah, they read a headline, they go crazy, but you go, how are your actual living situation affected? Oh, nothing's affected.
Nothing's affected.
But you cry a lot, though.
You look at the China stuff, because all the manufacturers in China, people are on suicide watch. They're showing their, I don't even say that word, but they're showing their warehouses. They're empty. People are getting laid off. So they're getting choked harder.
So their kids getting choked, and we go, yes!
Yeah, we're sitting there going like, okay, but the thing about China, they're more resilient than us. They can handle a bunch of paper cuts. So they can watch their kids or their country, their people get choked out longer and longer and longer. It's like
They've been through worse.
They see, oh my God, people are gonna jump in and help you out. Yeah, so it's like, so it's never happened. So it's like, whose kid or which country is going to get choked out the worst, and who can stand the longest?
Americans have more, but I think the discipline here is way worse. Like, because even my wife Hannah's from UK, and she goes, you know what the difference is between Europeans and Americans? I'm like, what? She goes, like, Americans don't know how to like be in discomfort.
Correct.
And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And she goes, you guys get anything at any time, whenever you want. You go into a store. The customer service is always like, customers is king. This doesn't exist in the UK. We just like, it's like that whole stiff upper lip, like, just deal with it. They can deal with shit. But for us, as soon as we're uncomfortable, we think it's the end of the world.
But then why are they now arresting people for tweets out there?
That's a whole different thing, but it's more like being resilient and like dealing with bullshit. That's something that we can't, or Americans don't do.
Like, when we didn't have eggs, we started freaking out.
Or it's more so we're complaining probably more than them about being arrested for tweets.
I know, and they're just like,
They're
just
probably
deal with it,
dealing
bro.
with it.
You know, yeah.
Americans are really good at complaining. We're very good at it. So.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the challenge is going to be, is that China can hold out longer, but
they're getting hurt
Yeah,
harder.
they're getting hurt harder.
Like,
Yeah.
You say, I went through 3 famines, man. It's like, the fuck?
Think about, in China, like 25 years ago, industrialization in China happens, right?
Yeah.
Homelessness, people are living in poverty, they don't care. They just suck it up. And look at them now, they're a powerhouse. America, I don't think we can see our country go into like poverty at that level where we're like, all right, stop right now, don't let them get choked out anymore.
No, they're calling it a depression now.
Yeah.
Do you think, wait, so are the people that were around during America's Great Depression still alive today? No, right? No. They're done. Yeah, like, it's World War II peoples that were the...
There might be a couple like 95-year-olds and stuff. Yeah.
They don't remember their first name, though.
They were...
What's my name again?
Because boomers, they're saying, like, are the worst. Like, boomers, they didn't really deal with any wars. They had everything. They came into, like, the golden era of America, so they came in through well. And then they're, like, the most selfish.
The ones that call everybody wussies now?
Yeah. It's so funny, right? Because they're, like, the worst grandparents. Statistically, boomers are the least involved in, like, their grandkids' lives. Like, because they had actual parents that were around, and they had grandparents that would help, right? And then boomers are like the most like, I don't know if I can deal with my grandkids. And then like they're the most entitled. They complain the most. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. They think they're the toughest, but I don't know if America can. And then they raise the Gen Z who are even more weaker. So like, fuck.
Yeah. Tight spot. So that's where we're at right now. It's like you have two big juggernauts to see who can hold out the longest. And I think China, even though they're suffering, they can hold out a lot longer than Americans.
Well, they may not have a choice in the matter as much as Americans do too.
Well, right now there's 330 million Americans, and we just consume more than every other country. So can we consume enough to go to other countries to get them to produce something now? Because like we are the buyer. Can other countries fulfill that? If not, we have to wait out for China. And can China find other buyers? Can these other buyers beat America? Which is hard. Like we're paying $1,000 for a cell phone, or let's say even goes up to $1,500. People are still going to buy cell phones.
They're still going to do it.
Yeah. But in other countries, like $1,500 or $1,000 for a cell phone, maybe not. So that's why both countries kind of codepend on each other.
Do you think the actual, like they say like on the surface the goal is to bring back American manufacturing, right? But do you think that that's the actual thing? Because I also think like maybe it's just to short it.
I never think anything's the actual thing.
Right? This is just call it conspiracy theory or call it what you want if you want to buy the stock. You know, you know what Tesla's. I'm not saying I'm pro Elon. I'm just saying so no one keys my car. But Tesla's making robots, right? Yeah. So this industrialization, if they do this tariff thing, they bring industrialization back to America. It's not Americans taking factory jobs. It's going to be these robots taking factory jobs. So Tesla, I think, long term might be a good play. Just saying, because think about this, like. We're not going to take those jobs. Yeah. We're sending everyone back to their country right now, so no one's going to work any of these jobs. So if they bring this, if they can actually pull it off, then you have robots doing the jobs that we don't have to send out. Yeah. Now America can prosper again. But then they would probably need now better engineers here. So I think school might be popular again because they're going to need the job to run these factories.
Is this going to be one of those situations when they're like, we're going through so much hardship and someone pops up with an answer going, well, if you vote yes on my robot plan.
You mean like the Patriot Act? When 9/11 didn't happen. All right. Anyways, when you also take into account though that like let's say this conspiracy thing about robots and manufacturing in America goes to automation, right? Won't that like skyrocket unemployment though? Which
other jobs, other higher paid jobs. Like think about this. You gotta manage robot technicians, or you gotta manage these robots.
Man, I'll just sneak in that shit like this.
This guy's working way slower than the other robots.
That robot's dancing in the corner.
If you think about like when manufacturing went overseas, right? We do have a huge welfare problem because there's no good labor jobs, and then the ones that are around, there's not that many. So like, let's say you can work longshoremen, you can work construction, you can work all these. Well, not construction because it's not a union job, but some of them like plumbing and whatever. They're union jobs, right? But there's not enough for the people. So like
that's what I'm saying. Are we just gonna go back to the times where everybody's like, hey, pick me today outside of the factory?
That's what you mean by like day labor.
I think those factories. I think the robots will take those jobs. I think there's still a framework where someone has to run it, and I think those jobs will open up. But the thing is, can we bear the challenges to see the end of the rainbow, to get to the other side of the end of the rainbow? Right. I don't know if we can do that or not because like it's like there's only a certain limit we can hold out on. It's like jiu-jitsu, right? When someone does the mother's milk, bro, you're getting smothered, and like, how much can you really withstand until this guy, like, is this guy gonna move finally?
Oh, you don't know what the mother's milk
Bart's
is?
mother's milk is real thick, by the way.
Can you show this guy a mother's milk?
I don't know how to do the mother's milk, but I felt the mother's milk a bunch of times.
You just take a guy and you put him in a bosom, dude. You put him in your bosom.
It's technically not
a smother choke.
Yeah, it's technically not a real submission, but you can't breathe.
So you panic and then you tap.
So it's like, are you experienced enough to go, I actually have a way out of this, or does your panic does your panic level go so high that you're like, oh fuck, I can't breathe.
So it's not a real submission.
This is what Humpy's doing right this. He's just rubbing.
But then you consciously.
It's not a real submission, but you will go out though. You will go out.
People will panic and they're like that. Their mouth is stuck on their fucking.
Because it feels like you're getting waterboarded.
Yeah.
When you're like doing it for real, are you actually trying to do that, or is it something that happens as a byproduct? Oh, okay.
So I think America has to go through. If we want to get to the golden ages again, America's gonna have to go through that. but can it go through it? Another thing too, Trump only has 4 years. So out of these 4 years, he's got to find a way to keep everyone happy enough to vote the next Republican in to keep the game plan going. Because think about whatever Biden did, right? He can't. I'm saying that he did good things or bad things, but let's say Biden has a plan. He has 4 years to do 4 years. Three and a half or whatever, right? So he does it, but if he couldn't keep another Democrat in office, you can't see the plan play out. So that's the challenge we have right now. Like you have 4 years, but you need to do enough in the first year or two. And right now, everyone's looking at Trump's not doing a great job, but that means he has to find a way to balance it out on his second or third year to get Vance in the next round. If not, all of this is just for nothing. So everyone's just got to be able to hold out for a long period of time. And that's why, Bill Clinton got Obama. So they had 16 years. So think about it, you can see things play out the way you want it to.
So do you think that like this long play is a ruse that makes people think that like, oh, we're gonna bring more jobs to America, but really those jobs are for robots?
But bring other jobs for America.
Oh, besides that.
Yeah, correct. I think bring industrialization back into America, because right now, anything we want, anything anyone has on it, I don't think anyone here has a t-shirt made in America. Or even any piece of clothing made in America.
Yeah.
Think about that. If all that is made back in America, you have salespeople. There's a lot of other jobs. But can we resist the mother's milk? Yeah. Right? Can we resist all this panicking and challenge to see that? We don't know. And then all the promises these other countries made to like give money to build all this in America, it's going to take longer than 4 years. So that guy, you're like, you know what? I was going to cut that check, but never mind. It's a different president, so we don't know.
It's a robot president.
Because I've seen like, C&H Sugar. They were like a big powerhouse in Hawaii, and then they left. And then, but the company still exists. They're just in South America. Same with Dole. Like, I was like, okay, this is why
Dole
we can't
left
compete.
Hawaii?
Hawaii?
They're still there, but they're big. It's like a tourism spot. Like their main
I get my Dole whip every time I go. Like, they don't there anymore.
Their main operations is in Brazil. Whoa. And then where I saw this firsthand is like, okay, there's a Dole plantation, and right down the street there's a Costco, right? So that Costco, the pineapples are $3.89, and I went to Vegas and I looked at the Dole pineapple from Brazil, and it was $2 something, and I'm like, how does having a pineapple in the desert, how is that cheaper than getting a pineapple from down the street? And I realize it's because America, the land's more expensive, the labor's more expensive.
Isn't Hawaii just more expensive than Vegas in general, though?
Yeah, but then marking that up from a whole, because like if you think about Costco, right, they don't mark up their margins that much, so you're still getting very close to wholesale price.
Gotcha.
So that means both Costco's, Vegas or Hawaii Costco, and one's a whole $1 more in Vegas in the middle of the desert. That's crazy. So that means it's cheaper for them to ship from Brazil to the desert than moving that product down the block. Yeah. And I'm like,
unless they don't move it down the block. Because some people, just for accounting, they have to send the Hawaiian pineapple to Vegas to a distribution center and send it back. Wow. Because it's cheaper on the accounting end. It's easier for them to go, here's my accountants, let's run the routes this way. Even though it doesn't make sense to a regular person, but when you're saving billions of dollars, it makes sense that way. It could be like that pineapple is not even going down the street. It's going here and then back.
I guess if you have less of a choice, like if you're on Hawaii and that's it, then where else are you gonna get it?
and that's another thing about the tariff thing too, is like sometimes you have a product in the States, and like Bart said, like it moves out and it comes back and it moves out. Like there's certain products that will go back and forth, because it's like, let's say a t-shirt, it's manufactured here, and then it goes to China to put the silk screening on, and it goes to this person to get the sewing on in a different country, comes back to the US, it goes back. Some products go back and forth out of country.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
That is so weird. It's for no reason weird. You just have a whole barge.
No, it's because we don't have in-house capabilities, and it's still cheaper to go to a different country to do something.
Yeah,
and that's the big problem right now with the S&P. Like, why is the S&P 500 crashing? So these companies, even though they're American companies, it's cheaper for them to go out of the country to get whatever they need made, and then ship it back to America. Since the tariffs are so minimal coming back in, it's nothing.
Like the one of the interesting things was like when you take a company like Chevrolet and you're like, oh, they'll be fine, they make their shit in America. But then like they broke down like how many parts in the car come from different countries.
Oh yeah, they did that with the F-150 too. Yeah,
like dude, they're from like all over the world. Like to put piece together, you have like more than half the car missing.
The funny thing is, foreign car manufacturers are more American than American car manufacturers. because of how much the regulations for foreign, like they have to do X amount of work.
Assemble it here.
Yeah, in America. So Toyota was like, well, it makes more sense for us to be like there and manufacture there.
Yeah.
Whereas Ford and all them, they don't have to as a domestic company. So they're like, well, we'll just do it in Mexico.
Do we know if Tesla cars made in America are fully American? Even their batteries?
They did a survey, so this is just a
chips
survey.
probably aren't.
The battery maybe not, but the car itself, most of the parts, they can withstand this tariff thing because most stuff is made in America.
How convenient.
I know, so that's why a lot of people are like kind of,
But if they can pull this off, like let's say it is what they said it was to bring manufacturing back. A part of me is like, I don't really like the fast fashion. I don't like the consumer like throwaway goods. Like I do like good quality old school American, like how things used to be manufactured. It might be more expensive, but at least when you get things like it's supposed to last long, like your shoes or whatever, even a car, and it's not like you don't just buy it and just throw it away next month, you know?
But I think our society though, where you have the people that can afford America stuff, and then people who can't. And the people who can't, they're more the masses, and they're the ones on the internet complaining right now, and they're the ones who's pretty much making this look, big, and that's why you have to compare the videos between that and see how they really are compared to the people in China off of that and their websites to see who's struggling the most.
If like workers in factories in China are off themselves over it, that's freaking.
It's gonna be interesting to see how they play out too, because different like industries, I think, are gonna be affected differently. Like the world's creatine supply, so fitness industry, comes from China. So we actually don't have like a major owned creatine manufacturer. So I wonder if that'll be like, okay, now there's gonna be incentive for Americans to make their own creatine.
Barbell Brigade creatine manufacturer.
Hell no.
Dude, my Lychee went up.
Yeah.
I was getting $8 a can, now it's 12.
Oh shit! God damn.
And then that's actually 12 is the wholesaler's price. So they have to mark it up from 12, another 15%. The wholesaler just told me, they were like, "Hey, sorry, I can't give it to you for 8 anymore." So they're making on margin with 8 with me. Wow. So that's even a bigger jump.
Maybe there's gonna be domestic lychee. I don't know.
Now you got to do what everybody's complaining about and pass the price on to the consumer.
But you can only do so much of that, and that's what these these tariffs where they're like gonna tariff these other countries that are coming in here. These products still have to compete against American products. So if they do tariff them hard, they can only increase so much so that to compete. So these countries have to eat some of the tariffs.
Have you seen the American lychee? I think it's called a grape here. It's just.
And then they make it in California.
Wait, isn't that what you're supposed to do when these things happen? To be like, manipulate market to be like, this all new craze. Everyone's getting grape shakes. You know what I mean? Like,
That's exactly what.
because that's what they did with bacon back in the day when they couldn't get rid of all this like unusable meat.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, everyone loves it.
That's why we started doing the high fructose corn syrup too. Because we grow corn like a motherfucker. They're like, let's just make sugar out of this thing.
That's literally what is natural, regardless of tariffs. What's like most convenient and appropriate. Like for example, you go get Korean barbecue in Korea, it's mostly pork dominant.
Yeah. True.
Because they don't have cow the way that we have. They have it if you go get it,
Everybody
but
just
like
skews to whatever
it's
they make
mainly pork everywhere. So it's like you just grow up accustomed to the fact that like that's available here in my region, therefore that's what I consume.
Yeah.
It's just gonna naturally go back to that.
But that's why we are number one at consuming, because if we don't have it here, we're gonna go get it somewhere else. And because we want to go get it somewhere else.
Until now, yeah.
We want to go get it somewhere else. So we go, Daddy, we want to get it here, but all right, cool, I'll go get it for you, but I'll make sure they don't pay taxes coming in, so it'll be affordable for you. And that's why we're in this
That's what
dilemma.
you gotta do. Just be like, lychee now found to make you gay. Because in like Mountain Dew, remember we all stopped drinking it because we thought it was gonna,
Kill your balls.
Yeah.
Bring Surge back though.